Can't stop.
Won't stop.
Won't stop.
Till killer cops.
Or in cell blocks.
Can't stop.
Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you want to Why would you say that?
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it? Improper wear with it. There's no such thing as improper wear.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get that.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record for what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardes Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Can't stop.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday, number 458. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Awesome. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And before we bring on our special guest, Mr. Logan, I wanted to pretty much just let you guys know, if this is your first time tuning in, hope it's not, but my brother Tyrone West was an unarmed man who was brutally executed on July the 18th, 2013, and going on 9 years nonstop. We have been fighting not just for my big brother Tyrone, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. And it's just sad we still don't have any type of accountability whatsoever to this day. And we demand answers from our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosey, who has not responded to any of my message that was sent via mail, via phone calls, nothing. It's just like I'm totally getting a cold shoulder, and it's just so sad and disheartening. And as we know, we look around, election time is on the rise again. So we have to be very clear and very careful who we elect. You know, we can't just elect people just for, popularity or for doing the lip services. We have to elect people that are going to bring about real change that fights for us. They don't just work for a paycheck. They actually work for us. And nobody family should have to go through this nightmare that my family lives, breathes, and sleeps every single day. And as we approach, as we're new into this month of May, 4 days in, I'm getting sadder because it's almost coming up on my brother's birthday. My brother should be here with his family. And not only is it coming up towards my brother's birthday, it's coming up, and I'm almost in tears. I'm trying not to. But I lost my grandmother a year ago. And literally all of this is happening in this month. So this is a very trying month for me and my family. And it's not right. And for people to sit back and do absolutely nothing but play a dog and pony show is beyond absurd. And the only thing we're not asking them to break the law. We're not asking them to do us a favor. We are asking people simply to do their job. And the reason why we think it's very important and crucial that we play this video that breaks my heart week after week, seeing the first killer cop, Ruiz, from the Gun Trace Task Force that executed my unarmed brother, along with 16 other killer cops, is beyond heartbreaking. And I wouldn't wish this type of pain on my worst enemy. And I have to literally go through and do society work, be productive, and a cruel world, what seems like, that don't give a damn about us. And it's just so many people that play the game like they care, and they don't give a damn. While the victims of police brutality, the ones that survive, and the survivors are the ones that are murdered, while we can't sleep at night, they get good rest because all they're doing is working for a dollar bill. And it's disgusting. But they need to know at the end of the day, it can easily happen to them in a blink of an eye. Yes. But it's simple fact, most of them are the same. One thing they can do, they might can take their fancy suits off. They might can take their uniforms off, all of that. But one thing for certain and two things for sure, they can never take off their skin. And I'm happy with the skin that I am, but it's just so disgusting and how we get played just because of our skin color. And that is so sad because I guarantee you, if my brother Tyrone West wasn't Caucasian male, we would have been had accountability from day one. Greg Bernstein would not have laughed in my family face in such disrespect. The same way he laughed in Anthony Anderson's family face, he did the exact same thing in my brother's case. And we're not the first. That's why it is very crucial and very important for us to have this platform right here, West Wednesday, because this shows you that these are not isolated incidents by far. These are systemically happening. It's happening, unfortunately, around the world. And what they do is they use our pain for their gain. You know, meanwhile, these people come and say, oh, let me come in office, vote for me, I'm going to do this. And they don't do a damn thing. And that's why I'm not even thrilled or even, like, I feel some type of way. Every time election time come around, I'm not going to lie. Because at first I was so big on pushing candidates like, oh, vote for so-and-so. But every time we vote for so-and-so, they do nothing for us. All they do is get our votes and they do whatever they do. They turn a blind eye, and I'm sick of it. I'm devastated. And the fact that it's happening repeatedly over and over and over again, that speaks volumes. Like, that is so sad and very disgusting to me. My brother deserves accountability. You know, he wasn't a perfect guy, but he was perfect to my goddamn family. And on July the 18th, 2013, he wasn't out breaking no laws. He wasn't being a menace to society. He was a church man, a father, and all that. A hard-working man, a man that everybody in the community, besides those killer cops, respected. And they took his life in a blink of an eye. They tortured him in broad daylight. And if you've seen, and that's the disturbing part, when I look at Darrell Harris, 24 hours, when Darrell Harris was saying, look, do you want me to take off? I can step out the car, stop. And him and Chapman, you see the white cop, that's Chapman. Chapman was reaching in there. And those were the first two killers that came to my vehicle and started murdering my brother. And I have to relive this damn nightmare. Week after week, day after day, election after election. I'm sick of it. I'm to the point I don't want to vote for anybody because these people keep lying and playing this dog and pony show. I want to make it where as though these damn killer cops are in cell blocks. Forget the dog and pony show. Forget the dog and pony show. And it's just sad. It's just like, what the hell? Like, how many more people got to get slaughtered? And we see they're not easing up. And what they're doing is with all the crime that's happening that they started, that they're doing. You know, they're turning their backs, but they're using our pain. And meanwhile, every day on the news, all day long, somebody, family member getting gunned down on the streets of Baltimore, right here in our city. And it's happening worldwide. It's not just a Baltimore thing. It's happening in Philadelphia. Their murder rate is up skyrocket high. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening in different places. But I'm talking about right here where I call home, Baltimore. You know, it's just disgusting. And what they'll do is they'll use all that pain to say, oh, we need these type of laws. And they're going backwards. Nobody is going forwards. No one is going forward. They're going backwards. And then they doing idiotic stuff, talking about, you know, let's refund the police. First of all, they never was defunded. They never invested any monies, took money away from them and invested to grassroots and making sure. They never did any of that. It's a game. It's a game. It is a game. And the sad part, guess who losing and guess who winning? They're winning and we are losing. We're losing our lives. We're losing everything, man. And meanwhile, everything is just transformed. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around day-to-day activities. Just everything, the price of everything. Like, I literally just came from the gas station. And because my car used diesel, I'm paying almost $6 just for 1 gallon, $5.89. You might as well round that off to the nearest buck. $6 for 1 gallon. The food prices are rocking the sky high, and nobody's doing nothing. And meanwhile, our paycheck is staying the same. And we work hard. I'm not asking for no donations, you know, but it's just sad. Like, you gotta wrap your mind. And the crazy part, everybody, especially in the times we're living in, and you know, it just seems like everybody is a paycheck away or two from either losing their homes or being evicted if you're not a homeowner, because these times that we are living every day is real. So I just want to take that moment before I bring my neck, and I have respect for this young brother. That's why I asked him to come join us on West Wednesday because not only, and I'm not pumping him up because I'm sick of the Doug and Pony show. I'm not doing any of that. So let's be clear. I'm not pumping anybody up. Y'all cast y'all votes on what y'all see fit and however y'all want to do it. But what I'm saying to you is Mr. Logan has been out to West Wednesday numerous times. Logan has talked about, freeing Keith Davis Jr. Logan has talked about getting accountability for my big brother Tyrone and all the victims. Like Logan knows Logan knows the Doug and Pony show. This brother, and I'm just gonna give you a little description about him real quick before I bring him on. This brother, he's a Baltimore native. He graduated from Stanford University at the age of 19. He graduated, y'all. And then he earned a master's from London School of Economics. Okay, so this brother got a lot, and he done did stuff with the youth and all type of stuff. But most important, he's running, and I think in my heart, I believe that he's running for real change. And I'm just praying that as he come on here and he tell us his ideas, because this is not like, I just want to hear the thoughts of who's running type of thing so you guys can elect who you want to. But at the end of the day, whoever we elect, we need to hold them accountable. They can't just give us a lip service and just walk away. And I'm not asking, can't no man, one person get us out of all of this, but what a person can do is help. Because guess what? If you're not helping, you are a part of the problem. And that's where I'm at with it. There ain't no in between. I'm sick of the Doug and Pony show. Meanwhile, I'm at work today. My phone's lighting up saying somebody got killed on Greenmount and North Avenue. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. This is the norm. This is not normal. They're trying to desensitize us to make us feel like all this day-to-day foolishness that we see all day long of our bodies. To me, it's legalized genocide. I'm going to call a spade a spade. It's legalized genocide. I don't give a damn if it's a city cop killing you or someone on the street where they're not making us safe and they wind up getting murdered or whatever. Somebody get murdered. It's legalized genocide because it's taking us out, wiping us out at a rampant pace. It's disgusting. The things that COVID didn't do to us and take us out, they're going to wipe and take us out. They use COVID to me, and this is my opinion. This is not West Wednesday. This is me talking from my heart. With the COVID thing, a lot of people, yeah, true. A lot of people that couldn't handle it because it was so bad, it took them out. But to me, I still say they let a lot of people die. They saved whoever the hell they wanted to save, and they let whoever they wanted to die just die. That's just that. And that's just how this is society that we live in today. Even when people are getting gunned down on the street, you never heard about somebody getting gunned down, go to the hospital, and they survive. It's always they died on the way to the hospital or they died at the hospital, especially if they are black or brown. Let's be crystal clear. This is my opinion, and it's disgusting. So we need to change that. Again, I say election time is on the rouse. We need to know who we're putting in that seat for the next state attorney. Be crystal clear. And a lot of things, with Marilyn Mosey doing that lip service, playing like she's for the people, and she's not. But a lot of her policies, if she was for the people, I would love and support it. I would love and support it. The way she don't want to go after the, like low crimes, and they trying to blame that as the issue. No, bro, that ain't the issue. The issue is y'all invest where y'all want to invest, and the rest is just like, y'all just letting us just kill ourselves. And this has been the stage ever since Freddie Gray got murdered. Ever since poor Freddie Gray was murdered. And the saddest part, before Freddie Gray, that was my brother. Nobody was held accountable. We could have cleared this up easily before the Freddie Gray. When we were out there telling you how corrupt and dirty this system was. And if we think it ended by those few cops going to jail, something's wrong with us. This crud and dirt is really deep, but I can go on all night and I won't. Just respect for my our upcoming guest, Logan. So I'm just going to do a mic check and bring our brother on. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
It's all yours, brother. Can you hear me? Mic check. So I think oh, okay, we can hear you now. Yes, brother. The floor is all yours. Mic check. It looks like our brother may be having some type of technical issues because, as you see, our brother's outside, and we know that, like, outside, the scream is definitely difficult. So hopefully, let's give him a few seconds or minutes to come in. But as we wait, I wanted to check in with my sister Angela. I saw my sister Angela in queue. I wanted to see if she had anything she wanted to say because I know too that not only is it a hard time for my family, but I couldn't imagine how Angela is feeling right now because Timothy Fleming was murdered almost a year ago, and I believe on the 16th of this month it'll be a whole year. They still don't have an autopsy report, no investigation, nothing. That is beyond disrespectful. So I wanted to check in with my sister Queen Angela, see if she want to say anything while we wait on Logan. Mic check. I see you, sis. We can't hear you. Mic check. Hello guys. Can you guys hear our sister? Because I can't hear her. Mic check.
No, I can't hear either.
Okay. So sis, if you can hear me, you might want to go out and come back in and see what happens. So for some odd reason, we're having total, and I'm not surprised. Like I'm just not surprised. At the end of the day, I just can't wait till we are able to like secure our own type of networking and things of that nature. Maybe one day, especially with all the money this capitalist world has, maybe we could get some stuff to really work out for us. So I don't know. But we're waiting, and I thank you guys for tuning in. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. That's all I ask you to do. Hit the like, share, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook, please hit the like and share button as well. So definitely, if you're watching us on our Justice for Tyrone West, if you're watching us on any of the social media forms, like us, share, and subscribe. So I see my sister Nicole, and I want to check to see if we can actually hear her. And it seems like she just faded out as well. So Logan looks like he's back. So let's see what happens. Mic check. Logan, can you hear us?
Mic check. I can hear you.
Awesome. We can hear you now. So real quick, I wanted to check in to see because I was going to bring my sister. Yes, I hear you good this time. Awesome. I wanted to check real quick. Angela, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So I'm going to before I bring you on, my brother, I'm going to bring my sister Angela on really quick because we were asking her, because it's like I said, I know it was a difficult month of like stress and just so much going on in the month of May that's devastating for me and my family as we approach my brother's birthday, my oldest brother's birthday. But Angela's also going through something too because her brother Timothy Flemings was executed in his home, and it's going on a whole year and they still have no autopsy or accountability. So I want to bring our queen in first. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Can you hear me, sis?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear. Yep.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. First, the mic was off, and now the camera is off, but it's okay.
Oh, we see you. We see you and hear you.
You can see me? Well, yes. I can't see myself. That is funny.
Oh, yeah. You looking beautiful as usual. We hear you and see you, so go for it.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, like my sister said, May 16th, it'll be a year since my brother was murdered inside his home, and our family still don't have an autopsy report yet, an investigative report. My brother's kids are still in that home. It's a lot. Like my sister said, this is a horrible month for my family because not only was our youngest brother murdered this month, I have another brother that passed away this month on May 9th. My mom passed away on May 14th of this month, and I have a sister that passed away on the 23rd of this month. And like I said, my brother Timothy was murdered on the 16th of May of this month. So it's a lot. I'm tired of crying about it. We're out here fighting for accountability. We're asking for answers. We want answers. We're not getting answers. Every day there's another Black or brown person murdered. Like my sister said, it's happening in every state. It's even happening right here in North Carolina. It's sickening. It's disheartening. It's just so hurtful to go through this every single day when you see someone murdered, because you're reliving your loved one being murdered every single time. You have no accountability. So that makes it worse each and every day. It makes it worse. Marilyn Mosby, we want answers. My family is still in that home where my brother was murdered. My nephews are being terrorized, tormented daily, still in that home a year later. A year later. How sickening is that? They're kids. The city has no respect, no accountability. They just don't care. They just don't care that they have two young males in that home where their father was murdered, being tortured daily. How do they think those boys are going to end up or turn out? Mad at the police, mad at the city, mad at who? The world? We need answers. We want answers. Mic check.
Mic check, and again, mic check. I'm sorry that you're going through this, and we got your back. Yeah, definitely still praying. But I want to bring out Logan on that. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Logan, can you hear us, Mr. Logan?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, awesome. Yep, we can hear you now. Yep, go for it. Mic check.
Mic check.
But I just feel blessed to be with you all. You want me to go?
Yes, please. The floor is all yours, sweetheart.
Okay, yeah. I just feel blessed to be with you all today. Miss Tawana has been a ray of light in our city for so many people who have gone through that same pain. It's been too many, especially young Black men, who've been murdered by the police in our city with zero accountability. And the only reason why we have had the progress that we've had so far, as small as it may be in our eyes, is because people have stood up and said enough is enough. We don't want another man taken from his family, from his children, from his sisters, from his mother, leaving nothing but grief from the government that's supposed to be protecting us, that we're paying taxes through the eyeballs to murder and kill our family members and our neighbors. So for me, it's all about accountability. It's all about preventing it from happening in the first place by having the full repeal of the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights in the next session, by taking some of the funding from the police and putting it into public health programs and education programs, get the lead out the water. That's what we need to be focused on in the city. It's like, how do we have a thriving city? How do we end the failed war on drugs and start treating people as a public health and mental health treatment instead, like they do in every other Western country? So that's what I'm fighting for. As a black man who was raised here in Baltimore, I've been racially profiled by the police. I've had my mother had that conversation with me and go out in fear if I'm driving around at night or knocking doors at night, because any of us could be next. And we've had murders this year by the police without accountability. And so we got to realize that while we have made some progress in terms of raising awareness, we have so far to go. We got to keep fighting, and the thing is, I know with this COVID epidemic, the rising prices, people are at their wits' end. They're just trying to make it day to day. We're just trying to make it day to day. We're taking care of family members and getting our kids through school, people not passing their classes, but we just got to keep fighting and get this boot off our neck. And that's why I'm here joining you all today. And I feel blessed to have the opportunity to speak in front of this coalition with my good favorite teacher, Mr. Bleish, and Miss Tawanda, and the whole West Wednesday coalition. And shout out to the Keith Davis Jr. coalition as well. Stop prosecuting that man. Let him go back to his family and children. But that's all I have to say for this evening. God bless, and mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. And real quick, Mr. Logan, I definitely appreciate you and your ideas, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best, because we need real change, we really need it. And I pray that if you do get into office, that you be that real change. Do as much as you possibly can do. I know, you shouldn't wear the whole weight of the world on your shoulders, but as much as possible for you to do anything to help us out as a whole, please do it. Please be true to your words. That's all I ask. I'll ask you for nothing else, but just be true to everything that you just said. Literally, please just be true to that. Live by that. And I feel like if you get in the office and somebody try to sway you over more so for the dollar bill instead of working for it, either, I would just get out the door. I wouldn't even do it, before you sell our people out. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wish you the best. And real quick, I want to check in with our brother to see if Marcellus is on here to see if we have any questions or comments. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So on Facebook, Hillary says mic check. Farouk says we love you, Queen. Hillary says West Wednesday 458 mic check. Bill says very happy to be here for West Wednesday and the struggle against police terror. Just came from the rally at the Central Police Headquarters against the killing of Donnell Rochester this winter by Baltimore police. We must never give up in this struggle. AC Britt says mic check. Sifu says justice for Tyrone West. AC Britt says love to Tawanda. If Tyrone were white, they would have never have pulled him over. Sifu says if you ain't broke beard, wolf him in your house. If you ain't broke bread, wolf him in your house. Don't vote for him because you don't know him. AC says accountability for Tyrone West and all victims of police brutality. AC Britt says Sifu, they will break bread with you and stab you with the knife they cut the bread with.
Right.
Bill says yes, killer cops and cell blocks. Nelson says justice for Tyrone. Hillary says Tawanda speaks truth as always. If Tyrone had been white, you would be much more likely to have accountability. Your family and Tyrone absolutely deserve accountability from the officers, medical examiners, state attorney's office, and the whole system. We want answers now. Nelson says too much greed going on, not enough justice. Mic check. Michael says no. And Sifu says neither guest can speak. I could see just one. Bill says, Angela, my thoughts are with you, with your family during this very tough month. AC Britt says we want an answer. Michael says, which office is Logan running for? And AC Britt says, why does Logan think there still needs to be a repeal of the law enforcement officers Bill of Rights. Didn't that get done in the 2021 session? Mic check.
Mic check.
So I wanted to say real quick, he's running for District 43A, and then I can let him answer the rest. And thanks, guys, for your feedback and comment. Definitely appreciate it. Logan, can you answer the question? Mic check.
Yeah.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, mic check. We had a partial repeal. We had a partial repeal of Leober. It was not a full repeal. So I want to fight for a full repeal of Leober rather than the part one that we have right now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And I just want to thank Logan for clearing it up, because again, the media plays a lot into the way they sway our minds and what they want us to believe. They'll make it seem like, oh, the Leah board was gone, but it still exists. Pretty much they water everything down. It still exists. It's just sad. It's disgusting. So thank you for that. So mic check, and I want to check in with our beautiful Queen Nicole, who's here in Cuba with us. Not only did she lose her father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, but she also lost her beautiful 16-year-old baby daughter, literally 2 weeks. I can't, my heart goes out. So, Nicole, I want to check in with you real quick to see if you want to say anything. Mic check.
Mic check. Hi, everybody. I wanted to say, thanks again, Queen, for allowing me to be here with you guys. I'm here for you as much as I can be here. Together we stand, divided we fall, and we're going to continue to fight this fight. For those who don't know me, I'm Nicole Pettiford. I am the daughter-in-law of Anthony Anderson, and I am the mother of Ajay Harad, who both was brutally murdered. I've been on both sides of the fence because my father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, was brutally beat to death by Baltimore City Police in 2012. Sad to say, 2 weeks later, my daughter, Ajay Harad, was also murdered on the streets of Baltimore. My daughter's death wish was written because she witnessed a murder. And because of what her eyes saw, they put it right there as her life ending, because they took my child to the police station and they questioned her without the presence of an attorney or me or her dad. And they rendered her as a snitch. And like I say all the time, what do you do with a snitch? You get rid of it. My daughter was 16 years old. She never got a chance to really live her life and to become what she wanted to become, which was a singer. And I'm going to always lift up those two names, and I'm always going to stand here for Tyrone West, Anthony Anderson, Ajay Harad, and the thousands of other people who don't have a voice anymore to speak for their lives. I love everybody. Unfortunately, we were all put into a family that we didn't ask to be put into. But at the same token, I'm going to stand here and fight for my newfound family, for justice for their family members and their loved ones that they have lost in this battle. It's sickening. I'm sick of it. And I hate having to get on here every week and hear more names added onto the already thousands of names that we have already said out loud, and giving homage to their families and everything, and letting them know that we're here for them and we love them. Enough is enough. This has got to stop. And I invite anybody and everybody who has a cell phone, who has social media, to join the West Coalition, because this is the truth. And we are going to get this done. Somebody is going to be held accountable for our lost ones. I'm tired of it. And it's like, it's getting to a point where I'm at loss for words, because I'm so hurt and disappointed. And it's so sad that we're supposed to be in one of the richest countries in the world, and we can't do something as easy as get these killer cops off the street and get a handle on this street violence. If you have a satellite in the sky that can read the words on my bracelet, you mean to tell me that you can't find out who these cops are and lock them up? You can't find out who these people are out here that are committing genocide along with the police that's helping to kill us even faster. You mean to tell me that you can't find these people? You can, but it's more money that you're receiving by not catching them than you would receive if you did catch them. And I'm just tired of it, and I'm not going to be quiet about it anymore. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
And again, Queen, my heart goes out to you. And I also want to check in with just the West Wednesday coalition that is online and see if they want to ask our brother Logan or share any thoughts with Nicole, as well as our sister Angela. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, this is Uncle Bill here. And first, I just wanted to say I have very fond memories, Logan, of having you as a student. Thanks for your kind words earlier. And I want to mention that earlier this afternoon, there was a powerful, spirited rally demanding justice for Donnell Rochester downtown at the Maine Police headquarters. And Kinji, who had been in the hospital for a while, Kinji, excuse me, gave a very powerful speech. He's in the same church as Donnell Rochester had been. And he talked about how the police violated their own rules, which was one of the cops jumped in front of the car that Donnell Rochester was driving, which then gives them an excuse to shoot at him, claiming that he was going to run a cop over, but the cop put himself there in violation. And this system is so racist that in order to enforce racism, they're willing to break their own rules. And it's disgusting, as you say, Tawana. And the rally was good. And there's so many people, different families fighting against these police killings. And as you say, Nicole, we will certainly get this fight to have more victories and successes down the road. But we're up against a system that benefits from racism, and we got to change that too. Mic check.
Mic check. And I just wanted to give you feedback, Uncle Ben. I'm Uncle Ben, Lord Jesus, I'm tired. Uncle Bill, and you were talking about the powerful protest that Donnell family did tonight. It's just sad that any of our families got to do that, because at the end of the day, we still not getting accountability, man. All they doing, because I'm just looking at literally being boots on the ground for 458 weeks, okay? And still ain't getting no accountability. Still had to have people watch over, look at my family, laugh. Still had killer cops come in and get overtime pay just watching us instead of solving these unsolved murders that they're probably committing, most of them. And I said it, but the crazy part about it is, like, we do the rally, but after that, what's next? Like, nobody's being held in a cell block. The people that has the power to do that, they're not doing their jobs. They're not doing anything. Or maybe they are doing their job. Again, legalized genocide. And it's just the saying, if I think about it, the fact that we've been living this nightmare for over 400 years, like, come on now, plus years. It's just sad. Like, they literally went from lynching us on, trees to gunning us down and beating us in the street. And it's just sad, in broad daylight. The only difference from then and now is now we have all this modern day technology that can show you. And this is sad. Like, why have we become a complacent people to where as though we gotta see somebody get murdered? And even when we see them get murdered, they still want to play with our lying eyes. Our eyes still lie. We could see somebody get, just like recently, you would have thought that after Darnell just got murdered, they just killed somebody else. When we just heard about the other traffic stop, I believe it was in a county somewhere, but the young man, they try to say he was fleeing and all this stuff, but literally you see the officer jump right in front of his car and just start shooting at him. Like, really? But you so in fear of your damn life, but yet you jump in front of a moving car, or yet you jump behind a moving car and you start shooting into it. All of it's a bunch of foolishness. And again, it's a part. And then they just really recently ruled that the officers act within reason. The slave catchers act within reason. They did their damn job. If we don't see it now, be crystal clear on paper, we be sitting back there like, oh my God, what you mean they acted? They did their job. They executed us. That's what they were hired to do. I'm just going to plain out say it. That's exactly what they were hired to freaking do. And then the crazy part, and what really upset me, and I kind of really got set back, it was on Monday when I was watching the We Own This City. It really like tore me up on so many levels for the simple fact that, for one, where they made the biggest mistake, number one, is my brother Tyrone West should have been the main character in that goddamn movie. Period. 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 With no questions asked. Stop playing with my family. Because they know Ruiz and them target. They pretty much, they set my brother up and they murdered my brother in cold blood in broad daylight. And this was a person from the Gun Trace Task Force. And literally you kill a man, you go break in his house. At the next day after you murder him, you take all his belongings, something like all this, and it makes me so mad. And then the neighborhood they in, right around where my brother lived, they're like, get out my face with the foolishness. And I'm real devastated at, I'm glad that they're putting the crowd out, but if you're going to put the truth out, stop telling half truth. Because you telling half truth means you're telling the damn lie. Tell the whole truth and not but the truth to help your whole behind parts. Tell it all. Don't tell part of the story. Tell all of the story. And for Justin Fenton to literally have met down, he done did exclusive interviews with me. And no, I'm not throwing him under the bus, but I'm just saying, call a spade a spade. This man that came out there and looked at me on the corner when I was saying somebody broke in my brother's house. I'm showing them my brother's driver's license, all that. And they taking down damn notes. And meanwhile, what they doing? Making a goddamn movie that don't even include my brother. And this should have. And not only should include my brother, should include what the hell I've been doing for 9 damn years going on. All that's wiped out. But the crazy part, what they'll do is, God forbid, something happened to me. That'll be your next movie. Then you want to tell a movie, you want to name a street? Keep that foolishness. I'm here to tell you, keep that foolishness. Keep it. I don't want it. Even if I'm not here, I don't want it. If I can come back and haunt the hell out of anybody to try, I will. Because y'all full of crap. Stop using our pain for y'all damn game and do something about it. We more than just, we not no damn entertainment where somebody sit on their goddamn couch and eat their little popcorn and, we more than that. We more than that. That's disgusting to me. And the way that they know that Darnell was just murdered, they ain't doing nothing and they ain't not going to do nothing. That's the grim reality. They not going to do nothing. They already know what they're going to do. They're not going to do nothing. And they want to keep on talking about putting all this stuff on the books. Man, that book is beyond bigger than you and me. It's so much of laws in place already that can stop them from doing their crazy stuff. And what they keep on doing, they keep on doing the same exact thing. The first thing they said, well, you know what? We're going to stop the pretty much the zero tolerance where they were just pulling brothers over, beating them up, anal searching them, taking their whole manhood from them in front of their children, girlfriends, wives, all of that, and nobody get held accountable. Everybody in Baltimore City should be underneath of the goddamn jail cell. That's the damn problem. That's the problem right there. You're not holding nobody accountable, but you want to keep on going after people about money. What about all the violations? Y'all want to go, man, instead of y'all going after Marilyn Monroe about her bank account, go after about not indicting them 17 goddamn killer cops that murdered and that all, man. That's what y'all should be turning up on her for.
That's right.
Let's be crystal clear.
Amen to that.
Go after her for going after an innocent man, taking away Keith Davis Jr. life. 6 years behind a damn jail cell with bullets in them that these stanky officers did. That's what you should be going after her for. Indicting her and her husband, who told me, her husband, Nick Mosley, when he was a councilman, a regular councilman, said, I see the hurt in your eyes. I see the hurt in your eyes, Queen.
Nobody should hurt. And everybody know I'm not playing for the guy. I don't give a damn about no money. I don't give a damn about none of that. Because I get out here and bust my tail every day for pennies. 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 And the only reason why I'm doing it for pennies because I love the babies. I know my worth. I'm worth more than that. But I love these babies. That's why I do my job. And I do it with pride and joy. But I'm getting pennies. I know my worth. I'm getting pennies. It's not about the income. It's about the outcome. And we always miss the mark. We wait until good people are gone before we do something. And then we want to come in. Just like when Elijah Cummings was out here doing stuff. You know, he did a lot of stuff that I ain't like. But he did a lot of stuff that was right. Nobody never talked about that man. But as soon as he died, or they want to name a part of the court, circuit court after him. They want to do all this stuff. Keep all that. That's crap to somebody that's gone. Do something while somebody here. That's why I'm enjoying the hell out of Teachers Appreciation Week, because I'm getting my flowers now while I'm here.
Right.
While I'm getting the babies to say, thank you, Miss. While I'm getting the parents to say, thank you for being an excellent teacher while I'm here. Not while I'm in resting cold in the grave. While I'm here to be able to respond, correspond, give them feedback. Stop playing with our families, man. And then y'all wonder, and then the crazy part, y'all get all act like y'all so concerned when stuff start burning down. Y'all don't give a damn. All y'all care about is property. Property is more valuable than a human damn life. Even an animal life is more valuable than a black man, black queen, a child's life. An animal get more. They will lock up on, and I done seen it. The same table that they try to set me and my family down, they set a Caucasian family down first. True story. Not making it up. You couldn't make it up. I saw the white family coming in there, moping and crying. I'm like, oh my God, what happened to them? Like, what happened? And when my attorneys told me that bull crap, you know, God forgive me, because I mean, I'm not against animals, and I love some pets or whatever. Everybody know I'm scared of dogs. But the fact that I learned that the way they was weeping for their animal, and I was like, oh my God. And I felt sorry for them, because I know that some people take pets as family members because you love them, because you raised them. But for them to actually put a human life underneath an animal is disgusting to me. They actually gave a family where a white family, they gunned her dog down. True story, gunned her dog down, and they gave that family $1.5 million for a goddamn dog. And you want to offer my goddamn family $1 million for my brother? So a stinking mutt. Excuse my language, that I'm not, no disrespect to no animals, right? Or to no animal lovers, because I don't want the animal lovers coming at me, but I don't care, because I can handle my own way anyway. I said it, but for an animal, an animal's life more than my brother's life. And when we was testifying in Annapolis, I will never forget. They made us wait till 11 o'clock at night. When I say we had Pastor Hebert, and that's my warrior brother. That's the brother for real. He's in the church. He's a pastor. He is a true man of God, because not only does he talk the word of God, but he lives it. He fights for us, all of us. He got the Black Food Network going on. He's a man of God, y'all. Pastor Hebert, shout out, my brother. But the fact that he got his church bus to take us out there, they made us lunch. We went out there to testify. We got there like 8 o'clock in the morning. Literally, I told them when the bus was leaving at 4 because they didn't let us testify, I told them I will hitchhike. I will put this thumb out and go on the road and hitchhike or spend the night. I'm not leaving nowhere until I tell these folks off. Get them a good piece of mind, make the Doug and Pony show worth it. And while we up there testifying, they on their cell phone texting, being disrespectful, they fall asleep, they saying all type of absurd things to our family. But the fact that they even back then put animal rights before human life, that's what we had to say. And hear all the testimony about animal rights before a human life. And I say, yeah, they got the correct order in which they see it, but they got it did wrong. That is not the correct order. Human life comes before anything. Let's be crystal clear. Human life should come before anything. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So I want to check in real quick before we check in with our brother Marcellus. I want to check in with anybody on the panel to see if you guys want to say anything. I want to check in with our brother Logan, see if you want to say any additional things. And again, thank you, my brother, and thank you everybody for tuning in and being here tonight with us, because we know this is a beautiful night, even though it's raining. Y'all could have been cuddled up, laying back, enjoying the weather, all that. The fact that y'all here, thank you guys so much. Mic check.
Mic check.
If it's all right, I'd like to share a little true story about the point you just made, that this system values animal life more highly than black life or working class life. You know, that there used to be a canal for barges that went from Washington, D.C. out to Western Maryland before they had the railroad. That was how they moved freight. And the barges had mules that had a rope and a thing around their neck, and they would walk along the side on the mule track and pull the barges. That's how the freight was moved around. And they had these wonderful facilities on the barge where the mule that was not pulling could rest and sleep. And it was on the top deck. It was spacious. It had lots of air and lots of light. But the workers that worked on those barges, they had to sleep under the deck, cramped up, no fresh air, because if a worker got sick and died, it didn't cost them a penny. They would get another worker. But if a mule died, they had to pay for that. So there's a long history to mistreating the working class and giving much more high regard for animals. And it all has to do with the finances, with the money, with the capitalism. So just wanted to mention that as an example, historical example of the point you're making, which is unfortunately 100% accurate.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. And I just want to give another point real quick, and I tell this story like every time that I hear about something pertaining to animal over a human's life. And it was a real situation I gave you guys like a month ago. I came in and I gave you guys an incident where shortly after Darnell Rochester was killed, they came back with the verdict of another person that was unarmed, that was in his house. He was going through a mental health crisis. I'm sorry, I can't recall the brother's name, but he was going through a mental health crisis and whatnot. And the police literally came there and they said because he bit them, he bit one of the officers or whatever, they gunned him down, like executed him, you know, right in his family's home, all that. But then I gave you guys the reality. There was a dog watcher. It was a young Caucasian female. She was like 23 years old, and she was dog sitting for the weekend. And it was two dogs. I believe they were German Shepherds. I might got that part wrong, but anyway, they were like big animals and whatnot, dogs and whatnot. Long story short, she was dog sitting them, and they pretty much ripped her whole face off. She almost like she was inches away from dying. The only reason what saved her life is because one of the after they mowed her face off, like she literally already got like 3 or 4 surgeries, and they said she has to go through at least about almost 20 surgeries just to try to repair her face just a little bit. Like they ripped her whole face completely off. You can, if you guys don't believe me, Google search it. Just Google search dog watcher. You know, almost lost her life. But they literally the part that really got me was they, you know, once the dogs went outside of the house, the ADT machine went off or whatever, alerted the police to come. Literally the cops come. When I say they showed so much restraint, one of the dogs, I believe name was Badger or something like that. But Badger's life was more than this black young man that bit a human being, bit another human being, and they gunned him down. But after Badger went to work on almost killing this lady, like literally she was losing blood, had the police not showed up to call the paramedics and things like that, this young lady this young queen would be gone. But nevertheless, they didn't shoot the animals. They didn't put them to sleep. They literally walked those animals out after mowing, taking this. I mean, and it was like, and it was just crazy. It showed you the restraint. But I said all that to say, she got bit over 83 times, literally, and almost 90% of her body. And they didn't feel the need to put the animals to sleep, to put a bullet in those dogs. But yet they put a bullet in that brother. Sickening. real life. You can't make this stuff up. Hollywood couldn't make this stuff up. So I don't want to hear people that go and say, well, you know what, he shouldn't have bit the officer, or you know what, so and so shouldn't have had a knife, or you don't know. First of all, they're not judge, jury, and executioner. Let's be crystal clear. And then if they can walk serial killers to accountability, Dylan Roof, look it up, true story. White guy, white maniac, white racist animal walks into a church, break bread with the church members, and kill them for no reason, only because he was a racist piece of crap. Killed them. And what did the police do? Did they come and execute Dylan Roof, who executed over 5 people in a church, breaking the bread, praising the Lord? What did they do? No, they took him to Burger King. They got him a burger, and they gave him a bulletproof vest. And they took him. He was laughing, joking, all that. He didn't even have a wrinkle. It wasn't even a wrinkle on his jacket. Nothing. Not a bruise, nothing. So again, for all the ones that want to say, oh, well, they shouldn't have did that. Guess what? God forbid, when it happened to you, I want to see if you use that same energy. Use that same energy. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Awesome. So I'm going to check in. So is Logan still on, or did Logan leave yet? Mr. Logan, did he leave?
I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe he got disconnected. So I'm going to check in with our brother Marcellus. And again, guys, I'm sorry for going off, but it is what it is. Y'all know I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. That's all the way. So, but Marcellus, I want to check in with you to see if you got any feedbacks, questions, or thoughts. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
AC Britt says the police county shot and killed someone in Essex just today. Gretchen has a question for Logan. Will you enforce SB 374, private citizens' right to access the grand jury to provide checks and balances for the systems that's in place? Donnell Rochester's family is having their next protest on Tuesday, May 10th at 4 p.m. at City Hall. AC Britt says David Simon was involved with We Own This City, and he has a long history of glorifying Baltimore pigs. He was involved with The Wire and Homicide: Life on the Street. The actor that plays Wayne Jenkins was on a late-night talk show and said BCPD took him on ride-alongs and had him involved with house raids. I was cussing him out because he came away from that job with a reverence for police instead of realizing how fucking dirty they are. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's wow. That's very interesting, but it's definitely accurate and on point. You know, a lot of things we scratch our head for and say, "Oh my goodness, that don't make no sense." But if we living in this racist society that plagues on our pain for their game and plagues on the dollar bill, that's exactly what we're going through. And it's just sad that families have to go through this type of trauma. So before, again, I want to thank everybody for their feedbacks and comments and things like that. And I want to, before we check in with our sad list tonight, I want to check in to see if Nicole, Angela, or Logan want to say anything. If Logan is still in queue, we had some questions that was on the chat. If he could answer those questions, would be great. Hi, chat.
Mic check. Hey, I just wanted to say, Saturday past, me and Uncle Bill and a few other people from the West Wednesday Coalition, we traveled to New York, to Brooklyn, my hometown. And it was so inspirational to see how many people came together for this march and to break bread with each other. I mean, it was just terrific to be marching down the street and people looking out of their windows and people shopping and stopping, doing what they doing and chiming in with us, and they singing with us, and they saying, yes, racist police and everything need to go into jail cells. I mean, it was wonderful. And I said that to say, I wanted to thank my queen, Tawanda Jones, because Unfortunately, she couldn't attend this year, but she made it where as though I was able for the first time in New York to speak my piece and tell my story about my father-in-law and a daughter. And like they say these days, you know, give a person their flowers. And I definitely want to give her flowers because I wouldn't have access to these different entities without Tawanda Jones, because she was the one who put me on with this. I've met so many wonderful people, the people, my family here with the West Wednesday Coalition. We've become close. You know, me and Uncle Bill, he come and get me when I don't have a ride to get to these different places and different rallies and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you and thank you, Uncle Bill, for that. And that's basically all that, you know, I have to say. But it really, really was a very good rally and a good inspiration. And I know a lot of people was listening and was glad we were there. Mic check.
Mic check. And I want to thank you, Queen, for attending May Day, for you know, fighting this capitalist system, because we know that all these things kind of intertwine with each other. And just always thank you for, first and foremost, fighting for police brutality, because that's, you know, what we're about. This is a family that we never signed up for, and you know, we fight for all the families, you know. So thank you for just all the inspiring work that you do. I'm giving you your flowers as well, and I commend your strength, because losing, you know, a father-in-law, as well as, and first of all, not to prioritize, but just losing a child first, you know. I don't mean to sound petty, but losing your child and then losing your father-in-law and all that happening, and like, you go, girl, because it's just, it's a lot, it's too much. But I just thank you for your queenness. Thank God we don't look like what we've been through. So you're beautiful on the inside and the out. So just keep doing the work and keep making. And I know that your baby is looking down, smiling at you. And I know your father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, who never got a chance to give you a hug, is definitely giving you a hug and flowers now, you know. So every time you feel a raindrop when you go outside and it rain, that's your father and that's your baby saying they're proud of you when they follow you. So yeah, and I'm proud of you too, my queen. So thank you for all the good work, dedication, and just being, you know, you. Thank you so much for advocating, you know, because you, like you said, you in 2 fights, but guess what? It's all combined. It's 1 fight. Legalize justice. That's what I call it. Like, that's what I'm trying to change these things so that we can be reassured that everybody gets the pursuit of happiness. And that's just living. It's bad enough. It's hard and trying as we live in society, just trying to pay our debts to society. Be, you know, a good citizen and things like that, and just trying to work our way through. And you got to go through all type of foolishness. You got to go through foolishness on your job front. You got to go through foolishness every corner you go. It's like, damn, when I'm going to have a peace of mind? But you got to be your peace of mind. You just got to keep praying, keep believing, keep receiving, and just know that I got your back. I'm only a phone call away. I got all y'all back. Y'all know my number. Pick up, call me anytime. I'll be up anyway crying. So reach out, call me anytime. So, but thank you, my queen. But just for time's sake, because we're reaching the time front, so I just wanted to let everybody know you guys are about to hear our sad list that we normally do, and I get no joy. I just wish it become. My prayer is that one day that we will actually really get on here, and Brian or Bill or whoever has those lists that present will come and say, oh my goodness, do you know nobody got killed in our city? Like, oh my goodness, and nobody got killed by police in different parts. You know, that would be the most beautiful day for me. I'm telling you, y'all see me on here doing a 2-step dance. But unfortunately, I can't do the 2-step dance because too much is going on. So before we go into the sad list, I really want you guys to take a minute, because it's out of control, guys. And guess what? I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's only going to get worse. We ain't even in the summer months yet, y'all. We ain't even in the summer months yet. Like, literally, like, this is ridiculous. We over 100 and something homicides already. And all the media wants to do is call over 300 or something at the end of the year. It's all good as long as they read the names and their loved ones not on there. Their loved ones not on it. They cool with producing that type of stuff and making these victims seem like they were nobody. At the end of the day, these are people, loved ones. The names that you guys are about to hear tonight, that was somebody's child. That was somebody's mother. That was somebody's brother. That was somebody's grandmother, grandfather. That was somebody's loved ones. You may not even know them, but somebody out here loved them dearly. And literally, you don't know what trauma does to a person. Trauma can set you over the edge. And I'm going to say it again. Trauma can set you over the edge. We all only one pinch away from being pushed over the edge. I'm just going to be real. I'm just going to be real. Like, how much trauma can a human being take? And getting that call that nobody wants to get, and that call that changes your life forever. Because no matter what was going on, and we all got our own troubles, pains, traumas, all that. But when you get that call or don't get that call, and you realize that somebody that you know and love is murdered, you know, it's hard to get that call to say, hey, Granny didn't make it. You know, she was sick in the hospital. She passed away, or that uncle of yours didn't make it due to sickness. That is heartbreaking and devastating.
No.
Then you grieve, you go through, but when you lose someone from murder, where their life is ripped and gripped, they were planning either to come home, or they might have been on the way home, or wherever, however, depending on what part of the day they were actually murdered. But I guarantee you that day or night or whatever, they did not know that their life was going to be snatched in a way, at a blink of a dime, just snatched right then and there. Any dreams of getting married, if they wasn't, any dreams of having children, whatever they had planned to do, is gone. It's just wrapped up right then and there, concluded, the end. And it's so sad and disgusting. So again, let's take 2 minutes for both of them. And to me, 2 minutes is not long enough. But if you pray, because everybody don't believe in religion, and that's okay too, if you don't believe. But I pray that, I'm not trying to sell my religion, but I definitely pray that everybody get connected to God. But however you want to live your life, live it, and I respect it. But if you pray, please say a prayer. If you don't, please send positive energy towards these families, and know that even though we read their names, this was a loved one. This was something that devastated a whole entire family, a whole slew of friends, co-workers, everything. Communities are being trashed when they get that call or they get that news. Because sometimes you don't get a call. Sometimes you'll see it on the news or hear it through the phone waves. However, when they got that news that broke their heart forever, just keep in mind it broke their heart forever. So just pray that they seek help, counseling, whatever, because they definitely going to need it, because their life has changed. So let's please take 2 minutes. You pray. If not, please send positive thoughts to these families, and let's try to figure out how we can do better, to where as though we can really make these people be held accountable, to make sure that everybody has the pursuit of happiness. Let's take 2 minutes starting now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys again for taking 2 minutes. And I see my brother, too. And guys, I apologize that Logan wasn't able to answer the question, but I'll definitely make sure I get your answers to who wanted to know about, what was his thoughts. So I heard your question, so I'll make sure I send those questions to our brother. I think he got disconnected, but definitely just keeping you guys in mind. But again, still praying for these families of this horrible list that our brother Brian is about to produce. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Twanda. As always, I'm going to read this list, and I ask you to keep in mind the friends and family of all these people, the circles of impact these deaths have. The first name on the list from April 18th, the 100th victim of homicide in Baltimore this year, Ursula Brown.
Ursula Brown.
On the 19th, Michael Clanton.
Michael Clanton.
Clanton.
On the 23rd, Corey Greer.
Corey Greer.
On the 25th, Marco Nunez.
Marco Nunez.
The 25th, Angelo Clary.
Angelo
Clary.
On the 26th, Dominic Bullock.
Dominic
Bullock.
On the 27th, Denzel Scipio.
Denzel Scipio.
Also on the 27th, Devin Mall.
Devin.
On the 28th, Adrian Morris.
Adrian Morris.
On the 29th, Justin Lewis.
Justin Lewis.
Also on the 29th, Robert Carter.
Robert Carter.
And then the last victim for the month of April on the 29th, Kennard Wiles.
Kennard
Wiles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And again, praying for those families. And it's just sad that any family has to go through that. And one of those names read, Dominic, is actually one of my co-workers, cousins. So I'm definitely praying for her family as well as all the family. So we're going to have Uncle Bill read the police brutality list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Brian, that list was very long today. It's hard to hear all those deaths. In terms of police brutality and murder around the country, since last West Wednesday, they've included 3.5 more days, April the 27th to April the 30th. And in those 3.5 days, 10 more people were killed by the police. And I'm going to uphold their names now. First, on April 27th in Kissimmee, Florida, 18 years old, Michael Gomez.
Michael
Gomez.
Orange Park, Florida, on April the 27th, not yet identified, Ashe.
Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Thank you. On April 27th in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 58 years old, Russell Dufault.
Russell
Dufault.
And I should mention one thing. I haven't read about his case, but it says that the way they describe it here from the Washington Post is that he was armed with a vehicle. Of course, that's the same thing they would say about Donnell Rochester, where they broke their own policy to kill him. And I don't know what happened in Russell Dufault's case, but it may well have been the same thing. On April 27th, again in Houston, Texas, 29 years old, Jalen Randall.
Jalen Randall.
On the 28th in Bolus, Minnesota, not yet identified. It was a man, Ashe.
Ashe.
Accountability for all victims, Ashe.
In Simi Valley, California, again on April 28th, it's a man, has not yet been identified, Ashe.
Ashe.
Stops and cell blocks, Ashe.
In Fairburn, Georgia, April the 29th, 22 years old, Chase McDermott.
Chase McDermott.
McDermott.
In Hyde Park, New York, again on April 29th, a woman, unidentified as of yet, Ashe.
Ashe.
Justice for all victims, Ashe.
In Jackson, Mississippi, April the 30th, not yet identified, Ashe.
Ashe.
Justice for all victims, Ashe.
Thank you, Brian. And for the last person whose name we're upholding this evening, killed by police in Duluth, Georgia, 28 years old, Jonathan Laubscher.
Jonathan
Laubscher.
And that concludes this list of horrible police killings. Mike check.
Mike check.
Mike check.
Mike check. So again, my heart goes out, our heart goes out to all the names that we heard. And I guarantee you there's more names that we didn't hear. And I believe that it was deliberately done. You know, it's just really sad and shame on the media, because anytime they get a window or opportunity to put a false narrative out about a victim, especially a victim of police brutality, they always do it. Like with the Washington Post, they're famous for, oh, they were armed with a car. Get out of here with the foolishness. Oh, they had a toy gun, a paper knife. Get out of here with the foolishness. The media has the power to make innocent people look guilty and guilty people look innocent. So let's be crystal clear. They want to, dictate the way we see the victim and dehumanize them. But we need to change that by always knowing that. I don't care what the case may be. Just always remember, nobody's the judge, jury, and executioner. Nobody deserves to be killed on the spot for petty crimes or whatever type of crimes. They need to have their due process of the law. They need to have their day in court. The same way that sometimes these killer cops don't even have their day in court. But everybody deserves their day in court. Everybody. And including Tyrone West's family, Anthony Anderson's family, Timothy Fleming's family. We're waiting for our day in court where these killer cops be tossed underneath of the jail in a cell block. But just remember, justice delayed is justice denied. The more that they play this rule, this game, this thumb rule, and that's letting everything go by, right? Just to cover up. And that's all it is. It's a petty delay to cover up, to let all the credible witnesses die off, move on, get to the point they don't recall, like these killer cops. Because every time you put one of them on the jail cell, on the stand, if they get on there, whether it's for the motion of discovery, for a civil trial, or even for a criminal trial, the first thing that they're going to say, mark my word, is when they're asked about, well, what happened that night? Oh, I don't recall. I don't care if it was a month or a year ago. They don't recall. First of all, let's be crystal clear. We all know that anything that we did that was dangerous or that hurt somebody or we seen somebody get hurt around us, it always stick in our memory. So you're going to recall. You're going to remember. I still remember the day and time when I got bit by an animal, by a dog. I'm traumatized. It was a dog named Shorty that bit me. And that's funny because we know, shut him down, Shorty. But it was a dog named Shorty that bit me years ago when I was a kid. I'm talking about 8 years old, and I still remember it as if it was yesterday. Remember the coat I had on and all that. So I don't want to hear that I don't recall foolishness. But again, Marilyn Mosby, we deserve answers. We demand answers. You need to answer us. Are you going to put these killer cops in the cell blocks? Is Ruiz going to continue on plaguing our communities and making us unsafe, along with those other 16 maniacs? No one is safe as long as Ruiz and Chapman and all those, and including David Killer Lewis from Morgan, all of those, Danielle Lee, all of those, the females that murdered my brother, each and every last one of y'all deserve a cell block. And I don't care what day or hour or how many hours it take, days, years, months, whatever. Guess what? I'm going to make sure you guys are held to the fullest extent of the law. I don't care what happens. However, listen to my words, because you guys are documenting everything that we're doing, and it said y'all ain't doing nothing with it. But I want y'all, for the record, to be clear. I'm not going to stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. And that's for all of our family members. So if you can hold tight, I want you to watch the video that we started. This is the conclusion of that video. And again, I want to thank our brother Logan. And I'm sorry that he wasn't able to stay tuned tonight to where as though you guys could have got some of your questions answered. So again, thank you, Mr. Logan. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, my sister Angela. And as always, thank the whole entire West Coalition, from our brother Ben, who brings this to you guys every week, even when Ben is not in Baltimore. Ben could be way out of town with his family, friends, minding his business. Ben is going to stop and get on here and put West Wednesday out there. And in the event that he don't, or he's not able to do it, he leaves the tools and the knowledge to where our sister, our beautiful Rachel, she will pick up the pieces, or someone in the West Coalition will pick up the pieces to make sure you guys have it. And nobody's getting paid for none of this. All the stuff you guys are seeing right now, we're not getting paid for this. But again, it's not about the income, it's about the outcome. Remember, we won't stop, we can't stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. See you guys next week. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Killer cops and cell blocks.
And Mr. West begging for his life. And Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, When will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salon vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.